Welcome back to another riveting episode where we delve into a tale of family tension, historical artifacts, and a clash of ethical values. Today, we're examining a story about a heated disagreement over a private collection of art and history that's causing quite a stir. My F, 22, sisters, F24, fiancé, M27, is descended from European nobility. Until recently, I had assumed that this was purely genetic, and for the most part, he and his family were middle-class people from a normal background. Her fiancé is a bit quiet and a rather private individual, but pretty polite, and he seemed friendly enough with my parents. My father and him seemed to share a love of history, and when my sister and her fiancé would visit, my dad and her fiancé would spend many evenings talking about some historical event or another. Recently, my sister told me that he was inviting us to his family home in order to meet his parents and spend the winter holidays in Europe. My parents wanted to go, and I wasn't really going to miss out on a free vacation opportunity. Her fiancé was paying, so I accepted as well. Well, my family finally revealed to me that his family isn't just related to nobility, but are technically nobles. And although there is no legal distinction between them and the rest of society, they still have some of their former homes and possessions. In their massive home is a huge collection of really old art and historical artifacts that his family has been hoarding away from the public. Apparently, the family just keeps them there for themselves and their guests to enjoy, while the public can't even access to them. While her fiancé's dad was giving us a tour, I pointed out that most of these pieces should be in a museum, where everyone could enjoy them. But her fiancé's dad told me that they've been in his family for centuries, and as a result belong to them. This arrogant response annoyed me a lot, so I tried to explain to him that simply owning them didn't entitle his family to keep them away from the public domain and deny people the right to see them. At this point, her fiancé seemed to get frustrated, and he told me that his family had earned them through good service to previous monarchs, and as a reward/compensation for military service. I wanted to push back, but my mom told me to stop and that I was somehow being rude. My sister pulled me aside and told me that I was embarrassing her in front of her fiancé's family, and that I had been invited into someone's home and should show some respect and decency. I decided I didn't want to cause any problems, and I tried to just stay quiet while her fiancé's dad finished the tour. But after they pulled out some African and Asian vases and ornaments, I had to speak up and point out that they were keeping stolen cultural pieces in their home and that they had been robbed from their original indigenous peoples. This caused a big argument, and the fiancé's dad began to explain how they were given in compensation for military service in Senegal and that his ancestors had fought for them, etc., etc. I kept telling them that they were stealing and that they're hoarding pieces that the public and original countries had a right to have access to. I pointed out that this collection couldn't be completely legal and that it should be reported to the authorities in case they weren't allowed to keep some of the pieces. My parents got extremely angry at me and were telling me to be quiet and leave the room, while my sister was literally backing up her fiancé and his dad, repeating their arguments and justifying the collection. My mom ended up dragging me out of the room and sending me to collect my things. My parents told me to leave and made me stay at a nearby hotel for the rest of the stay, and my refused to let me stay with them at the fiancé's home. His family didn't even invite me to the activities they had planned for my family, and I was forced to spend the rest of the time alone at the hotel. It's been a month now since my parents and I returned, and they're still pissed. My mom says I humiliated them and made them look uncultured and unappreciative, while my dad barely speaks to me and says I should take a history course this semester so that I can actually understand what I'm talking about. My sister has blocked me and apparently doesn't want anything to do with me right now. Thanks for tuning in to today's thought-provoking story. Don't forget to hit like if you enjoyed the discussion and share your perspective in the comments below. Should historical artifacts be kept private, or do they belong to the public? See you in the next video.